Hey, everybody. I want to introduce my good friend, Bradley Charbonneau, here in our group. And today, him and I are going to have a nice chat about something that he does that I think adds a lot of value specifically to our audience. I'm, holding it for a minute. But I wanted to say how Bradley and we've known each other, I don't even know how long now. At least 5 years. So yeah. And we met years ago at Toastmasters. Years. and um and I remember why I joined Toastmasters. It was also to help my business. I don't have stage fright. I get excited when I'm on the stage. But at that time I was doing a lot of speeches and whatever, and I got some feedback just to make it more cohesive to do Toastmasters. And I'm glad I did, because I met Bradley and a few other friends from that. Yeah. And since we're both Americans that live in the Netherlands, that was a fun thing. And then we've traveled through this whole thing of entrepreneurship and living in a foreign country, thanks to our spouses. And then about a year ago, right around this time, I said to him, I think I want to do improv. Do you want to do it with me? And we went and did a taster course. Was it?
Yeah. I think I took about half a second and said, okay.
And then we did the taster course.
Yes, please.
And then it was so much fun. We've been on that journey ever since last fall. And that's still evolving, and that's not why we're here, but it gives you a good sense of who we are, which is people who like to have fun, make jokes and laugh and help people do the same. That's a big part of it. But on the other side of things, we both have businesses, and that's why I brought you here today, Bradley. Would you mind just giving us a little insight on what you do and who you do it for, whatever you want to say about it?
Yeah, thanks, Susan. It's so fun to be here. It's great to see you.
Same here.
You know what you brought up, how we met, Toastmasters and then improv, that's actually really relevant to what I'm doing, and I know also kind of what you're doing. But like Toastmasters, I also joined. For me, I also didn't have stage fright, and so that wasn't my problem. But that's a lot of people's problem, is that initial fear. Also, stuff you and I talk about a lot: imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs, and I can't do it, I'm scared, and I won't be good enough. And I didn't really have that issue. I had more, like you, I had more, how do I organize my thoughts in 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, and finish, and beginning and middle and end, and green, yellow, red light, I don't know. And so I needed that, and that was helpful. That was great. And then, of course, I'm a huge believer in practice. And so Toastmasters was practice. Go speak and practice your speaking, and guess what? You're going to get better.
Right.
And then, so that's Toastmasters, like the serious side, and presenting and organized your speech. But then when you invited me to improv, I am not kidding, Susan. I am so thankful for that day where you invited me, because I don't think it was half a second. I think it was a quarter of a second.
Yeah.
No. Yes, please. And jumping on that. And because Toastmasters is that, presenting in serious and structure. Our dear mutual friend would say, yeah, structure. But
which is a good thing.
Improv, which is a good thing. Absolutely. Oh, I need it like crazy.
Yeah.
But then the improv world was so wing it and have fun. But then we realized there are some structure and tactics even to winging it. And you could be better at winging it through practice, which sounds probably counterintuitive, and it's super fun. And so I know the question was a little bit about me, but that's also kind of where I've come from. Like I have an MBA, business degree. I was a consultant for IT company, corporate world, path life.
Yeah.
And I've also done speaking. I'm an author. I've written a lot of books. But the more I evolve, the more I want to bring in humor and lightness and fun into the equation.
We're
And
definitely
the
in
more
sync.
I do that, the more I want to do even more of it. But then I also how I see how important it can be for others to bring in some humor and some lightness into the situation, whether it
Yeah.
be writing books or getting on stage or running your business, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was an epiphany I had this week, and I'm going to be infusing more and more into my business, everyone. Heads up. Um, there are so many things in life that are serious and they need to be done, and we know that, but I really do like to have fun. I like to play
Yeah.
with ideas, and I love acting. I did when I was a kid, and improv opens that whole space up of just
Yeah.
letting whatever comes to mind and yes anding it, whatever. But
Yeah.
so we're in
Yeah.
that same stream, of course. um
Yeah.
but anyway, bringing back the
Yeah.
fun.
It's super important.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy and light and silly and fun and joking and humor and comedy. And it is all that stuff.
Right.
And it's also super important. And the more I dig in, the more I realize, like, wow, not to mention how in our world, I mean, if don't do this, but if you watch the news, you know, then
If you
it's all
try.
just doom and
Yeah.
gloom and the world's ending and everything. And it probably is. But
Uh,
but how can we lighten our daily existence?
yeah.
How can and not only like lighten, but enlightened, right? How can we enlighten our existence through lightening it and then even enlightening each other up,
Yeah.
right? Like you lift me up and you invited me to improv. I'm so thankful, right? And then I can maybe I invite somebody else to improv. So
Yeah.
we lift each other up, and
Right.
it's just such a good thing. And I'm thankful for you for that, Susan.
No, no problem. Thanks for going with me, because I really,
Yeah,
I know we're talking a lot about improv here, people, but honestly, I'm like, I need him to come. Not that I couldn't have done it by myself, but I just could see you doing it, and you do it effortlessly. It's so fun.
but
Anyway.
I don't know if I would have gone alone either.
Yeah.
It was that the beauty of the invitation and the welcoming, and hey, we're going to do this thing together. I mean, as you and I talk about with our businesses as well, right?
Right.
We've got do-it-yourself options, you got the group option, you got the one-on-one
Yeah.
option. They're all great,
Right.
but they're different. And the
Yeah.
group option, like the fact that we went together, I really don't think like if you said, "Hey, Bradley, there's improv in Amsterdam, go do it, it's great," I would have
Yeah.
said, "Oh, okay,
It's
yeah,
not
I'll look
motivating.
at it."
Yeah.
No, I think when you asked me, I think I signed up like that moment. Like,
Sent the link. There
like
you
we're going to
go.
do it together. Great, let's go.
It's like
Yeah,
delivered for you. It's only 25
yeah,
euros for this taster test. Let's
yeah,
go. Taster
yeah,
test, taster
yeah.
class. Well,
That's the test.
I mean, but that gave us everything we needed, was like a little taste of what it is, and then boom.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah,
right.
you're
And
right.
I think things are much more fun when we do things together. Not you and me, but people,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Just thinking back on those days, because it's been a while for me since I had that class, you develop some sort of camaraderie and connection with people because you're going through the same thing at the same time. And this is my wonderful way of parlaying into what you do and what you've got going on.
yeah.
So Bradley has humbly not talked about what I asked him to talk about.
But it's so related.
It
It's
is
so related.
related, but the people
It's
need to know
amazing.
why.
I know. Related to what? Will you guys get to it already?
So Bradley, you have this amazing ability that I admire so much. And I've actually borrowed and used for myself, which is to write a book. But you don't
Yeah,
just write any book, you write lots of books. And I want you to
yeah.
tell us more about that.
So I just I don't know, like I think last week I just finished my 35th book. And this one, as we were talking before we hit record, I did it in a matter of hours, two, maybe three,
Hours.
right? Hours. And I know before when you pick up your brains from the floor from the explosion,
Mind
then
blown. Yeah.
mind blown. It's how can I do this? Well, also because it's number 35, right? I've done it 34 times already. So I'm practiced at it. I often use
Practice. There
like
you go.
jogging and running analogies and metaphors, and which is kind of funny because I'm really not a jogger. But if if they say, hey, there's a marathon this weekend, hey,
Yeah.
let's go run it. Well, no. First of all, you're not going to make it. But second of all, you probably shouldn't. You're probably going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want to either. And you're going to think, whoa, that's terrifying. I don't want to do that. Why don't we, let's go walk in the woods first. So let's go take a jog around the
Mm.
block first. Right.
Hmm.
So I've been doing the 10Ks for years,
Right.
book wise. Right. So I've been writing books for a long time. So I'm very practiced at it. But then what really gets me is when people say, "Oh, I have a book idea," which is, by the way, like 94% of the population, right? Who
Yeah.
say, "I have a book idea. I'm working on a book, or I'd like to write a book, or someday I'll write a book." My favorite is the someday, because I have this like fake calendar with like fake days on it, like someday, right? Not Tuesday, but someday.
It's the one day that's not on the calendar, but maybe should be.
Exactly. Maybe it should be. I know. It's right. It's right there next to never.
Yeah. Right. I want to say
So,
something, but I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, someday is
so
probably a key element in your recent book.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. So what happens then if especially, so I write mostly nonfiction,
Yeah.
and I write a lot about personal development, about change,
Mm.
and it's stuff you and I talk about it a lot, and you and I both work in this area of breaking through, of limiting beliefs, of self-sabotage, of imposter syndrome, all that yummy, yummy stuff, right?
Right.
And so when people come to me and they want to write their serious nonfiction book on, like I had a guy, I always talk about this guy, and he had a sort of this business processes thing, and it's
Mm.
called simplify, simplify your
Oh,
business processes,
like this
right?
guy. Yeah.
And he's been working on it for 2 years, and he's on his like third editor, and he's never gonna finish. Like, I'm sorry, but he's just gonna work on it forever, and it's never gonna happen. And
Oh, it's
so
so
I'm talking to
simple
him.
that it's gotten complicated. I'm
Yes, yes,
sorry.
yes. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my God. That's awful. But you're right. Yeah, even this book called Simplify. That's kind of brutal. You're right. Wow,
Sorry
sorry.
to
Okay,
be
I'm not going to
such
mention his
a
name.
jerk about it. I'm not, but
No.
but this is a perfect, yes. This is so
Yeah,
perfect for what
you're
you're
right.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it almost doesn't matter the topic, but the problem with that topic is that it's like close to his heart, and it's his
Mm,
passion project, and he really wants to do it. So it's really important for him. And so the more important it is, the bigger it gets, and the better it needs to be,
mm.
and the more perfect it needs to be. And I need more editors, and I need more time, and I need more. I need another PhD on the topic, and
Excuse
maybe
me.
I should, bless you,
Thank you.
and maybe I should, I don't know, study a little longer, or I should work in the
Oh,
industry a few more years, and just like, oh my God, please. And so when I
I mean,
when I started working through this, go ahead.
let's just
Oh,
take a
yeah,
minute to talk about how many limiting beliefs you've just listed.
yeah,
Perfectionism, um,
yeah,
imposter syndrome, not feeling good
yeah.
enough. I just want to call them
Self-worth,
out,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah, they're
they
all in there. Oh, they're
they
juicy.
they keep you frozen, right? So I just wanted
Yeah,
to
and,
highlight
and
that.
well, and not to mention, a lot of the reason I do this is, of course, from my own experience of my own self-sabotage, and my own like years of not writing these books, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done 35 now, but remember, there was a point when I had done zero.
Yep.
And that point from like zero to still zero was a long time, right? And once I did number one, then
Yeah.
it was the dam broke open, and it was all mayhem
It
and
became
awesomeness.
normal for you, right? Like this is
Yes. Yeah.
I can see now what was holding me back, and that's no longer holding me back
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yes.
now
Yeah.
this is a thing I love and want more of. And
Yeah.
that's important because you got through something really, and I think
Yeah.
you worked with somebody, didn't you? And that, like, can you
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
a
In the
little
very
bit about
beginning, I
that?
had a, yeah. And so as strong and powerful and passionate and perseverant as I am now, right? And I'm also stubborn, right? Or the positive word is like perseverance, but I'm stubborn. And so, and I think, and the worst, this has got to be another element, is I can do it all myself.
Yeah.
I'll figure it all out. I don't need anybody's help. In fact, I don't even want anybody's help. I can do this. If I ask for help, that's as a sign of weakness or something, right?
Right.
Like, whereas, of course, as I know now, please, please, pretty please, help, ask for help. People love not only ask for help, but people love offering help. People love
Yeah.
helping other people.
Oh,
We
yeah.
truly do.
We do.
So I finally like flipped out to a friend of mine a long time ago that I was thinking and dreaming and not writing this book. And so uh, he forced me onto a 30-day challenge of writing every day. And so that was the trigger for me. So as much as I would love to say, it's just like, I don't know, addiction or something. We're going cold turkey. I went cold turkey and I broke through on my own. Like who does that? Who says that?
Yeah.
Who really breaks through on their own?
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's people, and that's great, and more power to them. Lucky them.
Yeah, it takes
But
a different kind of level, right? For sure, to do it
yeah,
on your own. Yep.
but I think it's a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun to have a team or have a group or have a coach or have ideally somebody who's been there, done that, or at
Hmm.
least is going to rah cheer you on along the
Right.
way.
Because
So yeah, that
accountability
helps.
is whenever you're trying to get to a goal or a dream that you've had for years. I mean, obviously, I'm a coach who helps people with these kind of things too. It's really hard to do it for yourself. But if you have somebody
Yeah,
going, okay, once a week, I want you to have 50 pages done, you
yeah,
have a
right.
placeholder for that. You have
Yep,
somebody to answer to. It's
yeah,
really hard to do it for yourself,
yeah.
especially if it's
It's so
something
simple,
you
isn't it?
don't
But
know. Yeah, it's
yeah,
right. And
it's really simple but powerful.
it's kind of like, Bradley, go to that improv class. I think that would be good for you.
Right, right.
Okay, it's a
And
great
yeah,
suggestion. But it's that whole idea of doing it in a group, doing it with others, and having an accountability and being in that space. But anyway, I
yeah,
digress. So that's how it got started for you. You did a 30-day challenge. You
yeah,
and then you wrote the next book soon
yeah. And
after.
then it just cranking. I mean,
Yeah.
well, actually, no, the 30 days, okay, this is going to freak people out, but I wrote for 30 days, then I wrote for 100, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 2,808 days in a row, which is like 7+ years of every single day writing, right? Which is nuts. And I almost don't want to say that because I don't want people to think, oh, I have to do that. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's forever. So forget it,
Yeah. No,
right? Which
that's
is very similar to what I'm doing now. So, like right now, as a
yeah.
nonfiction author and also nonfiction book coach, I will absolutely help you write your awesomest, greatest book of all time, your nonfiction book. Awesome. I'll
Yeah.
totally help you do that. But the way I want to get you there is I don't want to start with that awesome book because that's such a big hurdle or mountain
Too
or
big.
block,
Yep.
too big. And as awesome as I am, and as much as I'm going to help you do it,
It's so good.
and I can, we can
Yeah.
do it. But I've got some, I don't want to say tricks because that sounds like it's tricking, but well, in a way, this is a little bit of a
Hacks.
trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hack, trick,
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Tips,
system, whatever. Tips,
shortcuts.
tactics,
I don't know.
strategies, shortcut. Oh, I like
Yeah.
because we're still
Okay.
getting there. Oh, I like shortcut. That's good. So a shortcut to the big, massive, beautiful, fantastic, greatest thing of all time
Yeah.
is
The book. Yeah.
in the book, right? The big, fantastic, awesome book. Before we do that one, we are going to do what I'm calling book in a weekend.
Yeah.
And the book in a weekend program, the goal of this book, the content of this book. So you remember Simplify guy, right?
Yeah.
Who's 2 editors in
Made it
3 years and who knows
complicated.
what. Yeah. Well, I asked him, I said, what's the book you really should not write? What's the opposite book of the one you think
Right.
and and the world is waiting for your fantastic prose? And he's like, oh, that's easy, complicated. I'm like, okay, there's your title.
Oh my God.
And then I said, okay, what's your subtitle? It took him half a second. And he's like, and he rattles off this like awesome subtitle that I can't remember right now. But it was, I create like 3 parts, like, start your day off slow and watch Netflix all day and, whatever. And
Ah.
fall in a heap of a puddle of tears by afternoon or something like that.
Right.
And so what we're doing is we're making fun of our real idea, our real book. And
Yeah.
yet in the process, like psychologically, the process of doing this opposite is that for one, it's fun. For one, you know it's kind of not real. You may or may not publish it. We can talk about that a little later.
Hmm.
But uh, you are going to go through the actual process of writing your real book, but everything you do is going to be the opposite. And
Oh
so
yeah.
for a simplified guy, he's gonna complicate your business processes, right? He's gonna say, okay, here's your system. Well, it looks like spaghetti. Let's warm up the spaghetti and make it go everywhere first. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. And because it's funny, and even by the way, even if you don't think you're a humorous person or a funny person, and
Mhm.
remember, Susan and I have been in improv and in stand and we're potentially going to
Yeah.
take a stand-up comedy course.
Yeah.
Remember, improv, the first
Totally.
thing people often say is, oh, I'm not funny.
Yeah.
And so, whereas what we've learned in improv is that, but wait, yes, you are,
Yeah.
right?
And actually, if you
Or
think
you
you're
can
funny,
be.
yeah. And actually, if you're trying to be funny, you turn out killing the scene. But I wanted to say something about
Yes,
the
yes,
brilliance of this simplified turned into complicated. There is neuroscience that proves that we often think in the negative faster because we talk to ourselves negatively all day.
yes,
We're more it's not the way we should be, but that's the way it is. We're predispositioned for negative things. So, like if somebody compliments my shirt, oh, green looks so great on you. Yeah, this thing is 3 years old. We're
yeah. Oh, I
we're
love this, Susan. This is great.
we're ready for that instead of going, hey,
Yes.
thanks. Hey, great. Thanks. I'm glad you like
Wow.
it. It does bring out my eyes. You'll never hear me do that, right? Like that would be too
Wow.
obnoxiously bold. So I know somewhere out there, some great author wrote, we always write the book we need, not the book.
Yeah.
I don't know that quote totally, but we always write the book we need for ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like we always teach
Yeah.
what we need. And so,
Yeah.
what I'm guessing from your friend is he needs to simplify his life. And that's, I mean, I'm laughing because I recognize 100%
Yeah.
myself in everything that guy's doing. Totally.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I would stop at the editors because they cost money, but that's kind of where I would stop. But that's what I keep hearing about this is that
Yeah.
might be why, let's say I have a book idea, I've got tons, but like eating chocolate. I could talk a lot about eating chocolate. So I don't know my opposite of that. Totally bad example. Um, I
Well,
mean,
here we can talk about my case study that I did on my own.
yeah.
And by the way, you mentioned something you slipped in there. You said yes and.
Mm,
And as Susan and I both learned in improv class, yes and is the core of improv comedy
right.
because so someone compliments, hey Susan, that green shirt looks really nice on you. So the rule of improv is that she has to listen to what the other person said and then
Yeah.
to agree with it and then expand on it.
Yeah.
So yes, oh, green really does bring out my eyes. No, and the crocodile right behind you, whatever, right? And then
Couldn't
the
it be a
next person
frog?
has to
Anyway.
a frog. So one element is yes and. So if you keep thinking about your opposite book and you think
Mm-hmm.
that you're just going to go with it and as crazy or weird or
Yeah.
opposite or obnoxious as it might become, you keep yes anding it. And remember, this is just for the opposite book.
Right.
And so keep going down that path. And then another element of improv that is fantastic and it's super powerful is that you are the absolute supreme leader expert on the planet on this topic.
Yep.
So Susan could take her green shirt and say, Bill, I actually did a PhD in the color green. You probably didn't know that.
Mm.
I wrote my thesis on the color green and how it affects our moods. Now, isn't that something? Right.
And I
And
have a
so
sequel to
you're
that
the
book,
expert.
and it's called How Green is Totally Not Blue. Mm. Sorry, I had to pipe up there for a minute.
And
Anyway.
so in this opposite book, so for example, with complicate, he's gonna keep yes anding the complicate story. And then because he's the supreme knowledge expert on the planet about complicating things, everything he says is brilliant and noteworthy and should be recorded in scribes forever, right?
Right.
And so, but he's going to keep going with it. And if you think about it, when we finish our opposite book and then we move on to our real book at some point, if you choose to, then we're going to use some of these same techniques. We're going to keep yes anding your talk, and then we're going to be the expert ruler of the planet on that particular topic. And so, but also, Susan, you talk a lot about confidence.
Yeah.
This is yes and is also confidence. All I have to do is say yes and then build on it. I have to listen and build.
Right.
And when I'm the supreme leader, I keep saying supreme leader. It sounds like some like communist.
Something straight or cult.
Yes, yes.
Bow down to me.
Bow down, supreme leader.
Not worthy.
But then,
sorry.
but that person also can just keep going, because when you have the confidence of I'm the expert on the planet on the color green or on complicating your business processes, then you're just going to go with it. And you have that confidence, and then that's going to help you write your opposite book.
And what I love about it, so we've kind of zoomed in and out a couple of times because I think it is exciting to hear how fun it can be, because you're busting through that barrier between you and writing the book. That's what this opposite, I can't say it, opposite book is about. But the program that you're offering is doing it in a weekend, right?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that.
So speaking of opposites, I think it sounds fun and exciting, and it's only in a weekend. So tell a little more to that, because yes, and what else could it be?
Yeah. So as you and I also were talking about earlier, we were talking about how when we have a task, like you said at your work, you have a task and you have hey, Susan, go do this for 2 hours. Talking about 2 hours. So we have a task and we have a clear sort of deadline and sort of parameters in which to accomplish the task.
Right.
And so, and again, because I've written all these books, I know it doesn't need to take that long to write a book. And remember, we're not talking about this docudrama, 412-page massive work of art, right? We're not talking about that one. We'll get to that later. But first, we're going to get this quick one done. So it's going to be a short book. And so the weekend is broken down into 3 parts. And this has been like 9 years in the making of how I've organized these 3 phases and how I've gotten it down into the weekend. So Friday is clarity, Saturday is courage, and Sunday is confident. Okay. So
cool.
Friday evening is clarity, and we're going to, I can even give you, there's even 9 steps, but the clarity to know what to do, the courage to do it, and the confidence to finish.
Nice. Yep.
The 3 elements. Perfect. And then there are 9 steps. There's 3 steps on each Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's really Friday is mindset, and then Saturday is sort of heart, if you will, like mind, heart, gut. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Mindset, think about it, get it clear what you're going to do. Your heart's going to go into it on Saturday. You're going to do the actual work. You're going to be doing the writing, which may take you 2 hours, may take you 10, but we're going to get it done on that day. And then Sunday is gut and confidence, and we're going to wrap it up and have the confidence to finish, because finishing is a big deal. Also, because the elements of Sunday, in the morning it's finish, in the afternoon is celebrate, and finally it's share. So there's three steps to each day. And so we're going to finish on Sunday morning, and then we're going to celebrate our achievement, and then we're going to share it with, depending on how many people you want to share it with the world. And so this also comes into the idea of the real book, and because share is kind of marketing, sales and marketing. Right. And so share is just a lovely term instead of yucky words like sales and marketing.
But here's the thing I'd like to know, because I'm just going to ask the questions that maybe many people have. And though this is right now, we're doing this interview recorded, it will be in our my Facebook group, and I welcome people to ask questions. Bradley's there. He'll definitely come back and answer them because I know I'm not going to get all of the questions right now. Okay. You have done this for how many years? 9, 10?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 10.
But since you wrote that first book, right?
Yeah.
Longer,
Yeah.
I think. But and I know being your friend, you make it really, really look easy. And I
Yeah.
also know that of course it wasn't in the beginning. So what you're
Right.
seeing, you don't, like stepping back for a minute, this is somebody who's practiced and written and has done it and
Yeah.
has got a Kindle, he's a Kindle author, he's got reviews. I mean, that's where you can get to. So this is someone who can show you the way. And I've learned a lot from you, Bradley, doing other programs with you that's very similar to this one. And I know how to upload on Kindle. I know how to write it. I know the tools that I can use. It's very helpful. But before you make the step into going into the program, I think this is the burning question. You know, a weekend, a whole book, because that word book, I feel is
Yeah.
like closely associated to the word black because it
Ooh.
puts
Ouch.
the blue block. Because book, you just
Mhm.
said it, the 412 page book. That's the first thing I think.
Right.
And then
Right.
there's the smaller form, which is ebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you said something in our preliminary chat. It's a longer version email. Like there's different ways we write.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, for the business owners, this is a very helpful step forward into getting closer to that book. A lot of us here
Yeah.
are coaches and healers. And if that's something you've had in your heart, this is a great program. And the reason why he keeps talking about improv is because it's just supposed to be fun. And that's how we can
Yeah.
break the block to writing the book.
We were also talking about guarantees earlier.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I want to say this, I'm probably going to regret it, but I want to say, so if you are working on your book in a weekend, the opposite of the one you're supposed to write, and if you don't at least smile, if you don't laugh like one time, I will give you your money back, right? If you can get to the whole weekend, right? But seriously, think about it, right? Because if you think, okay, this is my topic, whatever, complicate, or
Mm,
like me. So my whole thing, I'm all about breakthrough. I'm all about, just do it and rah
right.
rah and fail fast, fail often, very Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And so to make a case study for a book in a weekend, I said, well, I need to do my own. I need to walk the talk, right?
Right.
And of course, I've written all these books, but the one that came to mind like this was called Procrastinate. And
Such
so this is
perfect
the one
book.
I did. I did it last week. It took me, like I said, like 2, 3 hours. And where's my subtitle? I'm going to find my subtitle here somewhere. Um, it's something like
Yeah.
put it off till tomorrow. Probably do some more laundry first, and
I
put the pro in procrastinate.
love it.
Right?
Also, I've been gifted the book, and every time the email came in about downloading, you don't have to do it right now. Loved it. Think about it. I mean, just it was so freaking funny. And every time, and I had already downloaded it, and I got a second email like, I know you're thinking about it, or I can't remember what you did, but it was just super funny. And I'm like, if you haven't done it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Wait.
Right. Okay. Okay, Susan, let's do this for your audience. If you're watching this and you remember this and you quote me, I'm going to guarantee if you don't crack a smile on your weekend and you go through the entire weekend like stern and serious, you write your opposite book without laughing, and I would only have to trust you and believe you, then let's walk through it and let's hop on the phone on Zoom because I want to see you. And if you can tell me without smiling the entire time, without laughing ever, and tell me about your opposite book without laughing, I will give you your money back. Because this is really why I'm doing this. I am doing this because I want to laugh more because I love laughing, but
Oh,
I want people to laugh like with themselves. But then hold on. even at themselves, right?
Yep. Yep.
If we can laugh at ourselves, we have just elevated our existence, right?
Here is the
So that's
official
what I want to do.
subtitle:
Oh
procrastinate.
no.
Put it off yet again. Maybe do some more laundry. I can't even do it without laughing. And put the pro in procrastinate. That I know who that came from. It's so funny. Put the pro in procrastinate. But it's a 2-hour book. It's already, in what, a few handful of words here is making me laugh where my eyes are watering, and I didn't write it, but I can only imagine what you can come up with. It's self-entertainment. That's what you're selling.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. Self-entertainment. And see, then again, for the self-doubters who are like, oh, I'm not funny. Oh, I'm not entertaining. I'm like, again with the almost guarantee. I guarantee if you flip your thing on its head, right? I'm go for it and just do it and get it done. Rah, rah, rah. And then I have a book called Procrastinate with like a couch. I don't know if you can show the cover. Like the cover of the book is a couch.
Let me see if I can.
Right. That's like the graphic. And I loved it because it's like couch potato.
Yeah.
You can get the book, by the way, if you go to procrastinate.repossible.com. You can download it for free. But there it is. There's the couch.
We'll make sure to throw links in.
Yeah.
But couch, what? So I'm a very visual person. And when when I saw it, yes. But when we were talking about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. And it just was so subliminal. Couch potato.
Yeah.
You laze around on the couch.
I didn't even think couch potato. You said couch.
Netflix,
you said couch potato.
Like all the things that get in the way of you doing stuff. Because you're sitting on a couch, it's got that perfect image of procrastination. Perfect.
Hey, so another tip from an author of 35 books is that I often do things and I'm quite, I don't want to say strict, but I have some strong feelings about certain methodologies to getting things done. So one of them in the book world is actually doing your cover, your title, subtitle cover early, right? You might think, oh, okay, let's get started. Start typing chapter 1. Like, nope. I want you to get ideally because like, as I was telling you earlier, when I had that couch, and I also chose yellow because I was thinking like a stoplight, like green, yellow, red.
And
right. Yellow is like
neutral.
Because red is stop. And green is go, but yellow is like, oh, I don't know if I go.
It's kind of in between. I kind of don't want to stop, but maybe I kind of want to go.
Maybe I should go. I don't know. How long has it been yellow now? I mean, should probably just go through.
We know it's not green, so maybe because I'm the expert of green.
right. You got a PhD in that.
Sorry, I have to bring that back.
So in my thinking, in my philosophy, in my methodologies, I want to do things in a weird order, right? And in fact, like I want you to do your cover, ideally first. Like if you can have some visual, something like that, like the couch for me, or like green. We could probably just have a green shirt for you, green T-shirt icon, right? For your book on green, which I'm liking more and more, by the way.
Me too. It's starting to, there's things developing.
And so see what's happening. I mean, like here we've been talking for a few minutes. And already this crazy idea of the green and the expert and the PhD in green, the green T-shirt and the cover, and what's the book called? Like green? I don't know.
Green T-shirt. Yeah, we don't know.
Talk about. We don't even know. But this is just a few minutes of talking about this thing. Like imagine a whole weekend, ideally in a group setting.
Yep.
With a bunch of people doing this. I mean, it's a blast.
I want to just say, I kind of mentioned it before, but I've been in one of your group programs, and the group helped me tremendously with my own book. I did write a book, and it was called something about squirrels.
Right.
I can't remember. And
it was because squirrels like
that was my opposite book.
You're like, oh I'm talking about we're talking about bicycles. Like squirrel.
Yeah, it's the whole distraction book.
Yeah.
Oh, kill all the squirrels.
Yes, that was it. That was good.
A picture of a squirrel with a target on its face. And so much out of the group support. I'm a big group fan. As everybody knows, I've started talking about my own program, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but groups, it's different when you're traveling through things alone. and it's
Yeah.
fine. And there's things in life we have to do that. But like when you're taking on the task of writing your book, especially this kind, because I mean, we're feeding off each
Yeah.
other, put the
Yeah.
pro in
Yeah.
procrastination. Green,
Right.
it's not yellow, blah, blah, blah. What it helps build that confidence that, oh, I
Yeah.
now can see a plan forward because I got clarity by
Yeah.
getting the image. Because I'm an
Yeah.
image person too. Like if I see the squirrel and the target right now, then it helped me
Right.
remember what the book was about, which was getting
Yeah.
distracted all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about momentum. So that would be the opposite book of that. So anyway, just,
Yeah.
but it's so creative and it puts you in the flow and it's exciting and it's fun. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I lost,
Yeah.
see, I had a squirrel moment. I lost my train of thought. Darn it. But I can see, there is a method to the madness of not doing it in that linear way, because you're really talking about breaking down the creative process and tapping into
Yeah.
flow by
Yeah.
using something you would
Yeah.
never write. I want to
Right.
write
Yeah.
simplify, but
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to write about complicated because I'm really
Yeah.
connected with that topic, whether I know it or not,
Yeah.
you know?
So another kind of subtitle could be like the book you really shouldn't write,
Yeah. Ooh,
right? It
yeah.
could be like wrong, or like in Dutch we would say fout,
Fout.
which is like you could say
Fault.
like
Yeah.
politically incorrect, or
Yeah.
I mean politically incorrect. You could get in a danger zone if it's like too
Yeah.
wrong.
That's super wrong.
But
If it's
yeah, don't go super wrong where it's going to be, instead of I don't know helping the planet, you're going to kill all the
ironic,
planet.
I think is the word. Ironic.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
I mean, well,
Yeah,
Fauci
yeah,
for Dutch, that's not the translation. I just want to be clear on that. But anyway,
yeah, yeah,
but you're doing something that, that's not the thing you really want to talk about. And so I know you
right.
probably know about this, but I'm just going to say it. It's have you ever heard of the morning pages from the Artist's Way book?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
in a
she's great. Julia
sense,
Cameron.
yeah, Julia Cameron, really famous writer, teaching
Yeah,
writing and stuff. And her book, The Artist Way, it's not so much about becoming a writer as it's much about being an artist. And when you're writing,
yeah,
you're really tapping into the genie and, the
yeah,
genius and the, muses. But we have all this clutter in our head, that negative stuff. How can I get to simplify if I can't unpack the complicated, right? Like, and
yeah,
so in
yeah,
a way, and I don't want to, there's so much value in this book in a weekend. Like it's super exciting. Like
yeah,
I can't imagine
yeah.
what the kickoff call is like. Okay, let's get clarity.
Right.
Yes, let's. I'm ready to write the green shirt book. Let's talk about why green, or who cares? How can we make this funnier
Yeah,
is probably how I would want to arrive to that book. But um
yeah,
but it's just, yeah, run with it. It's go with it, yes, and it, so
yeah,
that you have the confidence at the end to go to the
yeah.
next step, which is your other program called Boost Your Brand with
Boost
the
your
Book,
brand with a book.
which
Yeah,
I've always, I think is so genius. So can you spend a hot minute on what that would be like? So I've
sure.
written the green
So
shirt book. I'm like, it has nothing to do with
yeah,
anything. How do I do the
right.
next thing?
But so if we took like the complicate book
Yeah.
and the book he really wants to write is simplify,
Yeah.
then we're going to get complicate done with really cover, subtitle, title, few chapters. It's going to be fun. It's going to be funny, and it's going to be finished. Right? You don't graduate unless you finish. You got to finish.
Yep.
And remember, this is going to sound crazy, but I have a book called, I'm actually looking at it, the 1 word long book that will probably change your life.
Yeah.
Right. And I also did this during one of my past programs when people are like, Bradley, how do you do this? I'm like, and I think I recorded the entire process. I think I did the entire thing, like cover, title, formatting, everything, uploading to the distributors in a morning. I think I
Yeah.
uploaded it. I think it's on YouTube. If I find it, I'll share the link. But
That's fun.
the idea being that the actual number of words in your book is irrelevant in this case. Just as Susan said, it could be a long article. It could be a
Yep.
blog post. It could be whatever you want to call it. But if this were called blog post in a weekend, it wouldn't have the power because the real goal is the book. And I don't care what you call it. If it has a title and a subtitle and a cover and some chapters, and it's in a, we're not going to, we can make a paperback, but a paperback has to be a minimum number of pages. Right. But an ebook, when you get on your e-reader, you can't tell if this thing is 3 pages or 300.
Right.
Your e-reader is not like thicker.
Only 1 page.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that fact that you're getting over, you're accomplishing, you're succeeding, right? You finished on Sunday morning, step 7 is finish.
Right.
Now you know how to do this. And so then guess what? The 3 phases of Boost Your Brand with a Book are clarity, courage, confidence. And the 9 steps are the same 9 steps. But now, because you've already done it once, just like you ran the 10K and now we're going to run the marathon.
Yeah.
But now it's the real thing. But the fact that you're in shape a little bit already is going to make that marathon so much better. And then my secret desire for the planet is, because we're going to have so much fun with the Complicate book, with the opposite book, your quote unquote real book is going to be a little lighter. Hopefully you're going to take yourself a little less seriously. Yeah. Hopefully you're not going to, your imposter syndromes are going to back off, because you're going to slap them around, right? And you're going to have fun with it. And so like the secret desire is really to have more laughter and lightness in the world.
Right.
And even in bringing in your quote unquote real book, your genius, your masterpiece, your awesome thing, because we'll do that too, if you want to. If you're good with your book in a weekend and you're like, Bradley, this was the greatest thing ever. I loved it. I'm happy. I'm done. I don't need to write a quote unquote real book. Awesome.
Great.
And in fact, I've got another pro tip for you. I truly believe that everyone should write at least a book a year. So come join Book in a Weekend every single year, because the book you write this year is not the same as the person you are a year ago or a year from now.
Oh, wow.
So come join us every year and do it. And that book, I can guarantee you, even if you tried to make it the same, it wouldn't be the same, because you are a different person next year than you are right now.
Also because you've written the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how much easier is that next one going to be? Yeah. In fact, I could see, if you're still feeling hesitant about your Boost Your Brand with a book, like your real book, come do Book in a Weekend a few times. Come goof around 3 times and have 3 goofy books that are awesome. And you're going to laugh. Because I think of what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you have a totally goofy book that makes no sense and you laughed your butt off all weekend, right? That's a win. How much that cost you, right? Not in dollar or euro terms, but in energy. You've got boosted energy, boosted confidence, boosted courage, and boosted clarity from that weekend.
My gosh. Okay.
So I want some of that. Right.
I'm on board. I love these things. I love anything that's creative and fun and flowy and just lets you laugh. Lots of laugh. So we've probably gone longer than I expected, but I want to check in with everybody about this, because not that we keep talking like there's an audience here. That's what's funny. I don't know. Like Susan just said, I'm like, wait.
Wait, what?
You just
Hi, anyway, you in the back in the green shirt?
Just so you know, Bradley and I are always having a radio show at any given point. So welcome.
We just don't record them all.
No, not all of them make it live, unfortunately for you guys. Anyway, or maybe fortunately, it depends on your point of view.
Depending.
Yeah, right. So what I love about this is it's very streamlined with what's going on here in my space, is about breaking up with blocks or limiting beliefs and getting to the thing you really want. And I know, because I wrote a book a year ago, how cathartic and healing the process is to writing. And I know a lot of us do journaling and things, but to really put it into chapters and see it together, it brought up stuff, and it was such a healing experience. For me, writing is the doorway into getting through some things. But anyway, back to your not boost your brand, though that's awesome too. Write your book in a weekend. I'm saying book in a weekend. Yeah. Gosh, I'm getting in the problem. Let's say somebody here who just tuned into our radio show welcome, um, who wants to know when, how, and what. Can you tell us a little bit about those things for
Yeah,
book, not
Booster Brown
boost,
with the book.
book
Book in
in
a
a
weekend.
weekend?
So one little requirement I have. So if you come to me and you want like my craziest, most expensive, most elite, awesome package of
Mm.
one-on-one coaching for Boost Your Brand with the book, I can tell you right now what your first task is going to be. Your first task for you, dear, serious, awesome person with awesome book coming. I'm going to say, oh, that's so great, love it. Let's go sign up and you'll pay me loads of money and it's going to take 3 months and all that good stuff. But I'm going to say, oh, you know what your first task is? Book in a weekend.
Yep.
And you're
Okay.
going to say, no, Bradley, I don't need that. I want to skip on to the serious book. I'm going to say, I understand your thinking, but it's still a requirement because I know making that the real book is going to be so much better and faster and funner and easier when we do this first process of the book in a weekend.
Because it cleared
So,
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great.
has it cleared it for you? It cleared it out. So that's why feel free to ask me. Hey, look, can we just skip right to Boost Your Brand with the book? And so you already know what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I want you to come back to book in a weekend. Now, my ideal situation, my ideal post-COVID situation is book in a weekend is live in person,
Mm.
right? We've got some awesome location, ideally in some exotic place like Bali or
Love that.
Costa Rica. So this is dream scenario, which will happen, just a matter of when. But
Mm.
that's ideal situation is in person. So a little bit back closer to current reality is in persons in Europe happily do that. We get a group together and we do it in person, hotel, location, Western Europe. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Next step is in person. I'm sorry, live, not in person, and so Zoom and phone calls and community and stuff. And then ideally, we're in similar time zones because I've run programs where literally had someone in Singapore and someone in Seattle. That didn't
Whoa.
work out all that well. Yeah, it was like the opposite time. We never had everybody on the same call. So it was kind of a bummer.
Mm.
So with the group online, then we'll get a good number of people together at a few times a year, and
Mm.
we'll put together the dates, and then it's going to be group online. And so that's great. So come join us. In the meantime, if you want to take immediate action, I would recommend the do-it-yourself version. The jump in, do it. Because remember how I said I'd love for you to do this every year?
Yeah.
Great. So go do it yourself, get through it. I also highly recommend really, truly following the sort of calendar and doing it in a weekend, like Friday night clarity, Saturday courage, Sunday confidence, and doing that. Yes, it's on your own. And yes, there's a community, and yes, there's courses, and I offer all kinds of gazillion tools.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, we haven't even talked about the content, but I basically am showing you how to write, format, design it, format the entire manuscript for ebook and print. I'm giving you all the tools to do so, which are all free. I just know what they are, right?
Yeah.
And if you go search for how do I format an ebook, you're going to get 27 answers. I know the one I use and why. And so that's another thing you're getting in the program is my expertise on all of this software stuff that makes all this happen really easily. So go do that for a weekend on your own, bang out your book. And here's another little tidbit I'm offering as like a benefit, and especially I might regret saying this, but when you get your book done and it's up on the distributor, which is, I don't want to freak you out, but it's private, but there's a distributor so that if you share that link, and this is how Susan got like Procrastinate book, you share that link and then you can get it onto your e-reader just like you saw in Susan's book.
Yep.
Right. So, and I know how to do all this distributor stuff, all the EPUBs, all that stuff. So you get that done on your do-it-yourself, share the link with me, and then I want to have you on my podcast and YouTube channel and do a less than 20-minute chat and talking about your book in a weekend. And if you so desire, we can then talk about your real book if that's the next step. But I'd love to just have you on the YouTube channel and podcast and talk about your experience with book in a weekend and the fun you had, struggles you had, And then what's next? What I really want to know is, okay, now where's your confidence level to do your next thing? And what's that next thing? And I'm also happy to talk about what your next thing is. So remember, I'm offering crazy stuff here. I've got crazy guarantees. If you don't laugh, you get your money back. And now I'm offering finish your book, and then you'll be my guest on my podcast and YouTube channel.
If you choose the do it yourself version, right?
Sure. Yeah. And then the group version is when we have enough people in the similar time zone, and then we'll make the groups.
So if I
want
the
dreamland, the sweet spot is the group.
The group, right? Because we've talked a couple different ways on how group is good. And if I wanted the group, is there a wait list that you have, or somehow I just send you an email or something?
Yeah, we'll put links below on how to sign up for stuff. But also, I'm also once, if you're in the do-it-yourself, of course, then you'll be updated on when the group opportunities are coming up.
Okay.
So but groups, and like I said, I can't wait to do in person. That's going to be my total fun zone.
I hear that.
Just imagine the focus, right? Just Saturday, side by side, sitting in some great location. And this is our focus for the weekend. We're going to get it done, right? And we're going to have a laugh doing it.
Oh my God. Tons.
I mean, guarantees, we're going to laugh every day.
Every day. Hit the pro and procrastinate. And if that happens to you, we'll find a way to boost you out of it, right? Well, thank you so much, Bradley, for sharing all of this and talking about improv. And I mean, like I said, this is our own radio show. And I'm so happy to be able to prop you up in this way and offer this also to my audience in specific, because I know personally in my own journey of writing, I do that. I am the simplify guy. I get caught up in it's got to be perfect because it's important. And I want to really encourage anybody here to go look at this weekend and say, this is where I just let it all hang out and write what it is that I don't want to write. Right? Talking about green shirts, talking about procrastination, talking about complicated. And I mean, it's really useful to do it something that's not the green shirt, but more that's the opposite of what you want to write. So you can get into that creative space of writing what you really do want to write. And, I highly recommend this. There'll be a link to all of these things, but specifically to the book In Your Weekend. And he did offer a lot of things in this video. So make sure you note them down.
I know. Quote me on them. So you said this, Bradley, you said that.
Right here.
Here you go.
And do check out his procrastinate book. I think that's one of the links we're going to offer too, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
My affiliate code, right, is on there. Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will you will also get, I don't even know what the discount is. What is the discount?
25%. Coupon code Susan.
Yep. Okay. We'll have that in the link.
So the deal keeps getting sweeter.
You got guarantees, you got discounts, you got all kinds of fun things. And this is how serious this guy is about you just writing that first book and getting it like a Band-Aid, rip it off. But not just that. Actually, that's the worst metaphor. A Band-Aid where you rip it off and start laughing, Because I'm going to make it work. I got to make it work. And you get a guarantee that if you don't smile, well, you get it for free, I guess. I don't know what the guarantee was.
I really would love to get somebody who's like, Bradley, I didn't smile all weekend. I want to have a call with you. And we have a 20-minute Zoom call. And there's like me trying for 20 minutes to get him to laugh. That'd be great. I would love it.
I want to try doing it. I wrote.
Yeah. You and I would never laugh. I don't think you and I can talk for a minute without laughing, Susan.
I'm trying to just read your book title. Bradley, I can't do it. Bradley, it didn't work for me. I wrote this book called Procrastinate, put it off yet again. Maybe do some laundry.
Right.
But he's not asking you to read his book title. He's asking you to tell with a straight face that you did not smile. once.
Right.
Right.
In working on your own opposite book.
On your own book, not other people's books,
Right.
because that's different.
Right.
Anyway, because we can always laugh at what other people produce, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, wow. This is a great interview.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we chatted.
Me too.
And again, I can't, say it enough. It's such a great thing to work on that project with you. It helped me a lot. And I hope here more people join that book in a weekend group. Anyway.
Yeah. Great.
So thanks again for watching, and check the comments for the links and send your questions. We're here for it. Thank you. And thanks, Bradley.
Thanks for having me, Susan. Thanks, Susan.